Hey guys, so my name is Krissa. I like to do movie reviews and trailer reactions. So if you're interested in that sort of stuff, please feel free to subscribe if you want to see more videos from me, or just give this video a like. It really helps my channel. So anyway, Dracula Untold. So this is a movie that I've had in my Netflix to watch list for a long time now, and I've never gotten around to watching it because why the concept of Dracula is one that I've always found really intriguing because, I love horror movies, and I admit I used to be into the whole vampire thing. I was a teenager, okay? Yes, I'm embarrassed. Anyway, so Dracula, I've always found him really intriguing, but all the movies that I've watched with him in it have just been really bad execution, like Dracula 2000, the Keanu Reeves Dracula movie, and maybe you enjoyed those. That's fine. We're allowed to disagree. I just found that me personally, they just weren't my cup of tea. Though I really did enjoy the Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode where she meets Dracula. And if any of you have heard of Abbott and Costello, they're these old black and white movies that are really funny. And there's one where they meet Dracula that I found really funny. But there's just not been any other Dracula movies that I've enjoyed. So I thought, it's the spooky season. I want to review some scary stuff. So this is the perfect time to give it a watch, free up some of my Netflix space in my queue, and see if I enjoyed it. And you know what? I really did. I really don't think this movie deserves all the hate that it got. So the movie stars Luke Evans, who I will always know for his role in Beauty and the Beast. So he plays Dracula, and he did a really good job in this role. He really carried the movie well. So this movie was meant to launch Universal's Dark Universe. So if you're not familiar with the Dark Universe, basically it was Universal's way of rebooting all the classic monster movies like Frankenstein, The Mummy, all of those types of movies, and I was really excited by the concept of this. But unfortunately, this movie and the following one, The Mummy, didn't do well in the box office, so basically they just scraped the idea. And I was really disappointed personally that The Mummy didn't do better because I was really looking forward to that movie. The original Mummy movie is one of my all-time favorite movies of all time, which I realize I just said twice. But anyway, I really want to get the point across how much I like this movie and how disappointed I was that they turned it into another typical Tom Cruise action movie where he jumps out of a plane, because I swear it's in this guy's contract that he must jump out of a plane if he's going to be in a movie. Anyway, I don't know, maybe he's like an adrenaline junkie in real life. Anyway, so they took out all the like cool Egyptian mythology, and Brendan Fraser screaming and shooting sand, which was like 50% of why the movie was so awesome. So then they brought out The Invisible Man, which did really well at the box office, and it was a really good movie. So there's talks that they may actually relaunch the Dark Universe after all. So I've always been interested in history, so I know that Bram Stoker's Dracula is based off Vlad the Impaler. He was a ruler in Romania that many call evil and ruthless because he used to impale his enemies on spikes. But you know what? He's known as being this hero to the Romanians, so I guess it really depends on what side of history you were on as to whether he was good or evil. So one thing I really like about this movie was how, at least in the beginning of the movie, it was fairly historically accurate. And I'm not saying that a movie needs to be historically accurate. I mean, I'm watching a Dracula movie, we don't watch it for the history. But at the same time, as someone who's always been interested in the legend of Vlad, it was nice to see them acknowledge his real origins to a degree. And if you want to see a movie that really does a good job of telling the true history of Vlad, then there's Dracula, Prince of Darkness. but that movie isn't really a good movie, and there's no supernatural stuff in it at all. It's really just a historical movie, and they somehow managed to make this incredible story boring. Anyway, so this movie, Dracula Untold, it told the origin story, and it also meshed it well with the Dracula that we all know, the coffins, silver, sunlight, all of that stuff. You know, we see him get burned when he goes into the sun. We see how he can't stand the reflection of the silver. It's all the typical vampire mythology, but at the same time, keeping to his origins. And if you know me, if you've been on my channel for any amount of time, you know that I love a good gothic horror story, and this definitely had a lot of the gothic horror vibes. You know, there's a big castle, there is a tragic love story, so I really enjoyed that aspect of it. So if any of you have seen Game of Thrones, you know what I'm talking about when I say his armor looks so much like the Targaryen armor. And it's weird that I'm thinking that, because I just brought out a video on the Targaryen TV show House of the Dragon today. Anyway, so I think the score really sets the mood. They did a good job with the score and with the special effects. I think even though this movie is so old now, well, it's not really old, but you know what I mean. The special effects hold up really well, and the runtime is only an hour and a half, so it gets to the point quickly and you never get bored. So the cinematography was pretty impressive, especially this one scene that really impressed me, where they had the sword. They had, I think it was Dracula's sword, and you could see the battle that was going on in the background, in the reflection of the sword. And Luke Evans himself brought a lot of emotion to the role of Dracula, and he did a really good job. And I think that the way that they set the movie up, where this horrible thing happens to Dracula and his family, I don't want to go into spoilers if you haven't seen the movie, but the Turkish army are just horrible people, and it really sets it up well. So when there's this certain point of time in the movie where he has just been so beaten down, and then he finally gets all these powers, it's like,
so screwed.
you know, you just really are rooting for the guy to win. So it sets itself up as a really satisfying conclusion in the third act, when he finally defeats his enemies. So anyway, I would give this movie a 7 out of 10. So let me know if you've seen it, what you thought of it. Like I said, if you want to see more from me, please feel free to subscribe, comment, like, all of that stuff. Thanks, guys.